Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. All right, I got 3 more weeks here in Taiwan. I want you guys to once again pray for me by singing along with me, gesturing at your screen, and smashing the dislike button. Let's pray a few more times. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Please continue to pray for me. A couple of things I want some prayer for. There's still an opportunity for some career pivot here in Taiwan. I'll follow up with some people that I talked to at the conference last week. One thing I love about Taiwan is that our entire culture, it's difficult for me to explain, but hear me out and take my word for it. The entire substrate is very conducive to people with sensory overload issues like myself. I am autistic. If this hostel were in the United States, I would not be able to use the kitchen. I would go in there and I would quickly get overwhelmed by the movement of people, by the noises. Here in Taiwan, yeah, it's still challenging, but it's much more manageable. And I have not run into the only times I might run into a little bit of issue is if it's with a tourist. But usually the overwhelming number of Asian people there will support me if I run into a problem like that. That's what I meant by the substrate, right? For example, yeah, I did have that American tourist. What's really funny was that he was Asian American, but he had already drank the Kool-Aid back home in the US, right? That's the problem, right? So it's not genetic whether or not people are going to be easy to deal with. It's more environmental, right? You could have a white American born here in Taiwan, grew up here, and they'll still behave like the native Taiwanese here, right? It's which Kool-Aid they drank, right? More than their DNA, right? Um, and that's why the suggestion that I just go to an Asian culture in the U.S. that doesn't really work too well. They drink the Kool-Aid. Uh, for example, one day while I was out for my walk, I was drinking a 2-liter tea, and I was finished with the bottle. I threw the bottle in what I thought was a recycling container. It turned out they were staging an event, and it was a container they were using for some kind of project. And they weren't really upset at me. They were just, hey, did you know that was for our container? And I was about to go back to pick it up, but they had already put it in the right place. So in the U.S., that would have played out very differently. I can already imagine, sir, what are you doing here? I could already see that happening. If I had done that in New York or Los Angeles, I cannot imagine that going down without at least my heart pounding, right? If not, outright like altercation, right? Um, so there's that. Pray for pray for the career pivot here, because short of that, if I don't pivot my career here, pray that when I get home to the United States, I spread some of this vibe within at least my workplace, right? Bring home import some of this good culture into the United States, right? Pray that I successfully import some of this culture into the United States. Thankfully, there's no tariff on importing culture like this, right? Although, don't give Trump any ideas on that. The other thing that I want to import into the United States is my love life. I hit it really big with a girl here last time I was here, back in December. Unfortunately, it looks like she wants to move home to be with her family. She's got elderly family members in Vietnam, and I don't know if that will be the end of relationship. But you know what? Vietnam is a place that I might want to visit at some point too, and it's even less expensive than here in Taiwan. Let's see. What's the GDP in Vietnam per capita? Only 4,000 US dollars, right? I could live like a king over there probably. Not the end of the world, but I do want to have a more settled relationship. You see, I'm recording this in 2025. This past year has been brutal on my wallet, in large part because I've been dating around all over the place, right? Not only coming here to Taiwan, but even back home in the US. Uh, Dating life like that is very brutal on your wallet. Let's just put it that way. And to give you an idea of how brutal, I have a Roth IRA. I've only put 2,000 in there so far this year. I put the 2,000 in there because I want to get the tax credit, but I might not even get that this year. And I haven't been accumulating precious metals. Well, a lot of that is because of the price, because of the tariffs. And that's it. In fact, I gave away a bunch of the metals as rewards for people to set me up on blind dates, and right. And so, and also I put a lot of miles on my car, and that's what destroyed my Kia Forte. I had to replace it. And so this is all in all very brutal. 2 trips to Taiwan. It destroyed my last car. The rewards for the wing people, and what else? And just general. Also, just like I said in my last video, I just even when I don't have a date, just going out to the dining halls or to a fast food place to try to network with people. I call it going to an 8 billion person speed dating event when I do that. Right, those 8 billion person speed dating events don't come very cheap either, especially in the U.S. Here in Taiwan, they might not be so bad, but back in the U.S., they could get really expensive really fast. Right, and unfortunately, for the first time since I left my PhD studies, I have a budget deficit, just like the federal government does, right? I need to run a deficit clock of some sort to show how badly my break it down into the different spending categories, just like U.S. debt clock. That I really could, right? The dating categories is just running out of control, right? That's especially the rewards and the 8 billion people speed dating. Those 2 categories are what drive all the expense, right? All right. So if I scored big with the girl here in Taiwan, both of those expenses could drop to 0 pretty much, right? Although I'll have other expenses, that's right. Maybe we'll have to think about saving up for her children's education. Although I don't think she wants children. It'll be replaced by that kind of deficit, right? That I can tolerate, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.